Hello YouTube and welcome to this video. I'm Marcus Hayes and this is the first video I've made in quite a while. I've been quite busy lately and I just haven't had much motivation when it comes to working on cars. I missed Ford Fest at Santa Pod the other day because I partied a little bit hard the night before, but because the alternator died on the Mark II a couple of days before the show, I wouldn't have been able to have any fun on the strip anyway. Today you join me from the passenger seat of my girlfriend Kat's very plastic 2012 Ford Fiesta, and she's given me a lift down to my garage so that I can have a look at my mum's VAUXHALL Astra. The Astra has an intermittent fault where every now and again the car won't start, and the warning light on the dash shows that it is actually something to do with the automatic gearbox. Now I've had a look online and apparently this problem is normally caused by the selector switch, which just needs taking apart, cleaning up, re-greasing and putting back together. So hopefully once I've done that, the Astra will live on to tell another story. So now I'm going to sit back, chill out, stick the tunes on, and I'll catch up with you when we get to the garage. Right, so here we are at my garage, and this is my mum's Astra. One thing I want to do while I'm here before I forget is grab my drill. I'll explain why later on in the video. So yeah, this is my mum's 1998 VAUXHALL Astra. I think it's a Mark III and it's right at the end of the line. So yeah, R-Reg. I think the Mark IVs came in at R-Reg. Genuine 47,000 miles, so really low mileage. Let's see if it starts, because the fault is intermittent. So there you go, it started today. Just reverse it out a bit, so we've got more room to get to the engine bay. Yeah, this car is pretty damn clean under here. Still got the original VAUXHALL hoses. Really clean car, so I do believe that the mileage is genuine. Like, the bottles haven't even really gone yellow yet, which is really rare to see on a car this age. But at the moment my parents are seriously considering scrapping it because of this intermittent automatic gearbox fault. Hopefully after having a bit of a play today, I bet I'll get it back on the road and save it. Please don't hate me too much for working on a VAUXHALL. I absolutely hate VAUXHALLs, obviously, because I'm a Ford man, but I also love my mum, so just trying to help her out. While the car is actually working, I'm going to turn it around so the engine bay's in the sun. Make it easier to see what I'm doing. Now that warning light there, the S, or the S of doom, as they call it on the internet, that is what's telling me that the fault is something to do with the gearbox. Sometimes it'll be flashing, sometimes it stops you starting the car. My dad said sometimes it will stop the automatic gearbox from shifting automatically. Hopefully cleaning up this shifter switch will solve the problem. Alright, so the shifter switch is down here, so the first thing I'm going to do is move as much of this stuff out of the way as I can, just to make it easier for me to remove the switch. Right, I just had a thought. Once this switch is off the car, I don't think I'll be able to drive the car back in front of the garage. So I'm going to do that now. Right, so I wasn't actually able to move that much stuff out of the way. But the bit I'm going to be removing is this bit here. Plugs in here, so undo that plug. And looks like I've just got 3 bolts to undo. I've just got to disconnect this rod from it, and then the whole switch should just come out. Right, I'm trying to undo this plug first. You see how that comes off the bracket? Probably have to break it. Oh, that looks alright. Don't know how this comes off. Got a long history of breaking plastic electrical connectors. I think I've got to pull that red bit out. Looks like it. Yeah. Maybe not all the way, I don't know. There you go. So disconnected. Got another cable tied down there to cut. That's the wiring free. There we
go. Be able to take the rod off now. Yeah. That's the shifter rod off. So yeah, I need to undo that big one as well. I'm not sure it's moving. Right, so got the shifter rod disconnected, and there's two other bolts that I've undone. I think now I need to remove this 22 nut, should be it, but I don't have the deep 22 socket. Probably can't see from that angle, but there's quite a long stud here, so my normal size socket isn't deep enough, so I'm going to try and get in there with a spanner. Alright, so my memory card filled up, and the footage I had of me actually finishing up removing this from the gearbox got wiped. But basically I was able to crack this nut off with the spanner and then just undo it by hand. Yeah, under here is this weird sort of washer, retainer thing, whatever, and then this rubber type washer. Once I took all them off, I was able to pull the switch off the gearbox. I've just put them back on there just so I can remember what order everything goes in. Now Vauxhall will tell you that this is a sealed unit and is an unserviceable part, but as you can clearly see, it's held together with these Phillips screws. Now these actually cost about £400 from Vauxhall apparently, which is just another reason for us to hate Vauxhalls. So I'm just going to take this home, undo these screws, take it apart. You've got to be careful, apparently there's some springs in there that can ping off. But yeah, then just clean it out, replace the grease with some new grease, and apparently it has to be non-conductible silicone based grease, so I'll need to buy myself some of that. Yeah, just clean it up with sort of contact spray. Yeah, re-grease it up, put it back together, and then fit it back to the gearbox, and hopefully that will solve all the problems with the Astra. If not, then there might be a very low mileage Vauxhall Astra coming to a scrapyard near you soon. So yeah, just going to put all my tools away. I've actually got to take these back to my other garage because I'm going to need to use them to replace the alternator on the Mk2. Lock the car up and get out of here. Cat's doing some very, very rare maintenance on the Fiesta. Ah, yeah, this tyre has had a bit of a slow puncture lately, and Cat has just found this little slit here, right where the bead is. How have you managed to get a puncture right there? Well, that explains why the tyre keeps going down. Still a very slow puncture though, considering that's quite a big slit. I'm guessing that that puncture isn't repairable, but it still is only a slow puncture. Just keep pumping it up, be alright. Right, so we've got the Astra all locked up now. I'm going to jump back in Cat's plastic Fiesta and head back to my other garage where my Mk2 Escort is. Right, so I'm now at my garage where I store my Mk2, which is around the corner from where I live. Just thought I'd go into a bit more detail about my alternator issues. So that's the old alternator. It died on Thursday night. Now bearing in mind Ford Fest was on the Sunday and I was working a 12-hour shift on the Friday, it didn't really give me much time to get the car fixed to get to Ford Fest. I was lucky enough to find an alternator on the shelf quite close to where I live, which I was able to go and pick up on the way to work on Friday. It was listed as a Granada alternator for a Pinto powered Granada, which hangs off the same side of the engine as I've got on my Z-Tech, so I thought that would definitely be okay. Went and picked that up, then I got up early on the Saturday to try and fit it. Everything was going well until I found out that this is the Granada alternator that I bought. You can't see because it's dark. The shaft here, where the pulley goes on, is a bit wider than the old one was. Now, because it's got a wider shaft, I can't get this ribbed pulley onto here. So I ran around trying to find someone to bore this out for me so that it would fit that. But all the sort of engineering firms in my area were shut. They're only open Monday to Friday. But I was able to find a drill bit in Toolstation, the right size, to bore this out. But it turned out that the drill I had at home, the chuck was too small for this to fit in there. So as you saw earlier, I picked up my other drill from the garage, and this drill bit does fit in the chuck of it, which means I should be able to bore this out and fit that to the Granada alternator and get the Mark II back on the road. Now, this alternator does have a bit of a wider body, so I just want to sort of mock it up and see if it will definitely all go together once I've bored that pulley out without me needing to buy like a longer belt. Because this has got a wider body, if it has to sit too close, it will foul on the inlet manifold. So I just need to try and figure that out now before I start butchering this pulley. Obviously, if I do end up boring this pulley out and this alternator fucks up in the future, and then I end up getting one with the thinner shaft here, then I'll end up having to buy another pulley unless there's some way that I can space it out or whatever. I don't see how I'll be able to do that. So yeah, I'm in two minds really about destroying this pulley. But this alternator was really cheap. So yeah, I don't really know what to do, to be honest, but I'm just going to mock it up just to make sure that it definitely will work. And then I'll make my mind up tomorrow whether I'm going to bore it out or buy another alternator. Looks like someone slid a classic Ford magazine under my garage door, one of the neighbours. There is a couple of petrol head neighbours around here. Maybe one day I'll be able to get their cars on the vlog to show you. That's me done for today. Tomorrow I'll be taking that Astra switch apart and deciding whether I'm going to bore that pulley out and getting that to fit on the Granada alternator, because it looks like it will work. Yeah, so I'll see you then. Right, so it's now the next day. I'm back around the garage with a Mark II. I decided to bore out the pulley for the alternator, and it now goes on the new alternator, so just got to bolt it all back together and get the car back on the road. So as you can see, the pulley goes on the alternator. One thing I have noticed is there isn't really space for the spring washer, so what I'm going to have to do is take this back apart and put some Loctite on there, but for now I just need to get the car back on the road. So there we have it, the alternator's back on the engine. Managed to get the belt on, it's not fouling on the inlet or anything. Just need to finally bolt it all up now. Alright, so that's it all bolted back together. Got the belt tensioned correctly. It's charging the battery, so Mark II's back on the road. So now I'm going to go and see if I can find some silicone grease in one of the local shops so that I can make a start on fixing my mum's selector switch for the Astra. So I wasn't able to find any suitable grease in any of the shops local to me, so I've ordered it online instead, and that will be here in a few days. But I thought I might as well take the switch apart now and clean it up so that when the grease does arrive, it's ready to put back together and stick back on the Astra. Alright, let's see what's what. So that's the switch all taken apart. It's basically got two halves, gasket. One of the screws didn't make it, but I'm sure it'll be alright. Screwed together with the remaining screws. Now, I read somewhere that there should be some springs in here that might ping out on you, but I haven't seen any springs. I'm pretty sure nothing pinged off anywhere. Oh, it's these, what people are talking about. So I just got to make sure I don't lose them. Yeah, so I'm just going to give it all a clean. I bought some contact spray and then just put it away until the new grease comes. Right, so I've given the switch a quick clean. Cleaned up all these little springs and these little contacts as well. I probably will give it a more thorough clean before I put it all back together. I think I need to get an old toothbrush or something to get every last little bit of grease out of these grooves. But for now, I'll just put it in a bag so that I don't lose any of the bits and wait for the grease to get delivered. Right, so that's it for this video. Really happy that I've got the Mark II back on the road. There is a couple of jobs I'm definitely going to be doing this week on the Mark II. I've got some polybushed track control arms to go on. In fact, I'll show you them now quickly. Got these from Dave Sims Automotive. So yeah, I'll probably go around the garage tomorrow and fit those, and I've got a new set of track rod ends to go on as well. And once the new grease comes for the selector switch from my mum's Astra, I'll be able to put that switch back together and put that back on the car as well. So hopefully that'll be back on the road, and that'll be the end of all those issues. As always, if you thought this video was any good, give it a thumbs up. If you thought it was shit, give it a thumbs down. Click subscribe and activate the notification bell to be kept up to date with any other videos that I post in the future. Make sure you check out my Facebook and my Instagram, and all the links you need for that will be in the description of this video as well. Until next time, thanks for watching.